This is quite unexpected, but we got a second balance patch this month with Freezing Rush Part 2. And yeah, I didn't see this coming whatsoever. Woke up this morning to the patch, of course. We will be going over it. And now they finally include Lapras. Lapras was like the thing where they called it Freezing Rush, but didn't include Lapras when Lapras clearly needs a bit of buffs. So yeah, this time Lapras is in it. We have more defense, more special defense, more healing on the boosted basic attack. So on the boost basic attack heals right now, it's back to 3% of max HP. Bubble Beam getting a 15% sheet increase, and Parashong, this is the big one, getting a 15% damage increase. Like, Parashong is a pure damage move right until level 11, where it becomes also very good healing, because after every Parashong you get a boosted auto attack. But before it felt so weak, because it just didn't do enough damage for something that is literally only supposed to do damage. But 15% sounds like a lot. This could be very, very good. I'm definitely going to try Parashong Bubble Beam, Parashong and Ice Beam, maybe even some Water Pulse Bubble Beam. But this already seems quite promising. Then we have Blissey changes that, again, I just feel like are kind of useless. These are like the kind of things that maybe are a bit of bait. Bigger shield on Safeguard, which makes the stun last longer. And Helping Hand also. But there are some Pokemon that can definitely use this, right? Like if you play with like a Cinderace or Dragapult or with a Mewtwo Y, which I already saw is also getting buffed. So maybe they're bringing back the Blissey Mewtwo Y meta. Maybe that's why they buffed this. So I hope not. I hope they didn't buff Mewtwo Y too much. I already looked a bit over it. And yeah, I just saw Mewtwo Ys. I don't know any of the changes, but I know that Mewtwo Y is getting some changes. But yeah, don't get baited by this. It only makes sense if you really have someone that has a lot of attack speed or can make use of basic attacks a lot. Healing in general is better. If you maybe have a Wish Umbreon in your team, you can try it out. But in general, not having healing is quite rough. Alright, this scares me a lot as well, because Greedent is a Pokemon that can be very annoying. So we have Belch with a slow buff from 15% for 1 second to 40% for 2 seconds after hitting a Belch, with a 12% damage increase. Oh boy, Bullet Seed getting a half-second cooldown reduced. That doesn't really matter all too much. That's, I guess, kind of okay. You know, it doesn't really matter. This one is huge. Covet getting a 1 second cooldown buff. That is pretty decent. And then also Unite Move getting a 10% energy needed decrease, which is pretty much just lower cooldown. So that's already quite scary as well. Greedent, if you play against someone that's good at Greedent, this could be very, very difficult. But at least Belch takes skill, you know, so not everyone's going to just be popping off on it. Then we have Azumarill getting a special defense buff, which is most often kinda useless, but you never know. You know, if you live on 1 HP, it could be because of this, right? So in the end, it can always matter. We have Whirlpool getting a 1 second cooldown reduce. I mean, that's like, I mean, sure, right? We take Azumarill buffs. Whirlpool is just kinda I have to say still. But yeah, and then we have the Unite Move. This one I like more, where we have a bigger shield on the Unite Move. Still, sometimes I feel like I literally just go down inside of Azumarill's Unite Move and just kind of make sure that it doesn't happen. Next up, something scary. They're rebuffing Glaceon again a bit. More defense, more special defense, and then also Icicle Spear damage increased by 8%. So yeah, guys, Eevee's Icicle Spear, yeah. I don't know if it needed a buff. I was already uploading a game that I was uploading a video that I can now cancel, where I wanted to say, please do not buff Icicle Spear Glaceon. I had a crazy game, and in general I feel like Icicle Spear Glaceon is still very good. I don't know why its win rate is so bad. I don't know if people are just bad at it, but Icicle Spear Glaceon is still super, super annoying. And then we have Freeze Dry. This is these are the buffs where you know that Timmy never beats the allegations of not playing Pokemon Unite, because Freeze Dry damage is so whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know. Like, these are the buffs that are just sometimes I scratch my head. I'm like, So, what's this gonna do? This is just cosmetic. But yeah, I guess Icy Wind, Freeze Dry got a bit of a damage buff as well. We'll see how that goes. Maybe it's massive now. Yeah. Then we have Espeon getting a buff. So yeah, evolutions. I hope you guys are ready for another round of evolutions. Defense buffed, special defense buffed. Psyshock by 10% damage increase, and also Future Sight. So they buffed Future Sight and Stored Power. They buffed Future Sight and Psyshock Psybeam build, I guess. So, I mean, Stored Power Future Sight could also be decent now, because often you just lack the damage for, you know, the resets. Like, Future Sight Stored Power wouldn't be too bad if you just didn't lack damage to get the resets, right? Which often happens, I feel like. Psyshock, damage increase is very scary. It can be, you remember when we had Psyshock meta on Espeon, it was, oof, if people know how to aim a Psyshock. Laning phase after level 4 is pretty much every last hit goes over to Espeon. Then we also have Gardevoir. They really like buffing defense and special defense of these Pokemon right now. We also have more defense on Gardevoir, more special defense on Gardevoir. Psychic getting a defense reduction increase by 5% and a 10% damage increase. Psyshock getting a 5% damage increase. And Future Sight getting a 5% damage increase. Gardevoir is definitely not a Pokemon I expected to be buffed whatsoever. I feel like Gardevoir is actually quite fine. So that's quite a surprise. Didn't expect this one whatsoever. Psyshock getting buffed, I mean, yeah, sure. At least they didn't buff Moonblast. You know, that's the positive part about this. But yeah, maybe more Gardevoirs again. But I feel like in general right now, like playing attacker Pokemon is very difficult. There is so much dive in the game. There's like a Darkrai running around, Cerulege with, you know, Mimikyus. Playing attacker is very bad. So I don't mind them buffing attacker Pokemon necessarily. I think it's really, like, I hate playing attacker Pokemon quite a lot. And there we go, there's the Mewtwo Y changes. So we have more basic attack speed by, and I don't, okay, by 0.5 at level 14, 15, I guess. I don't really know if this is what this means. Future Sight movement speed reduction, 10% more and a 1.5 second lower cooldown. Recover 1 second cooldown, also more healing again. And Recover plus gives 40% lifesteal, or like spell vamp on basic attacks for Mewtwo Y. And Teleport also getting a 1 second cooldown buff. So Future Sight, Teleport, Recover. Okay, interesting. Future Sight, Recover could be a bit. I'm definitely going to try out and see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, maybe that's why they buff Blissey as well. Now we have a small Zacian nerf, Sacred Sword. Defense piercing effect, nerfed by 10%. Attack increased, nerfed by 10%. And move speed reduction, also reduced by 10%. Just taking some power out of Sacred Sword, which I think is fair. You don't see Zacian not in your games, but Zacian is still a very strong Pokemon, especially in tournaments as well. So definitely deserves a nerf. Then we have another EX. So they're finally nerfing the EX Pokemon, but Mewtwo Y is getting buffed. Okay. Miraidon, Charge Beam, 10% damage increase. Electro Drift, 8% damage increase, but only on the boosted ones, on the empowered ones. And Parabolic Charge also getting a 1 second cooldown. Nerf, I made a video saying they should have nerfed this. It's one of my favorite builds in the entire game. But that doesn't mean that it's fair. Like, I want it to be nerfed as well. Even though I love playing Electro with Parabolic Charge, it was just straight up unfair. Ho-Oh is also getting a nerf on Flame Vortex, which I guess is Fire Spin? Is that Fire Spin? I assume so, right? This is Shield, damage decreased, Current increased. That is fair. Sky Attack getting half a second nerf. And also Unite Move, costing energy cost 20% increase. So that is fair. Ho-Oh is definitely still one of the best Pokemon in the entire game. That completely, you know, decides the outcome of games and definitely deserves a nerf. Now, Pikachu has been a pain in the, you know what, for a long time now again, after they buffed Vortex and Unite Move. So they're nerfing Electro Ball, they're nerfing Thunder, they're nerfing Unite Move, but they're not nerfing Vortex. So that's pretty interesting. I would just say, just give Vortex a 1 second tire cooldown again, or 2 second tire cooldown, and call it a day. I think it would be quite nice, or reduce the stun duration of Vortex. It could also be quite fine. But yeah, I mean, sure. I take Pikachu nerfs. I think the Unite Move 8% damage decrease is already quite decent too. You know, less point and click damage from Electro Ball. I don't know if Thunder needed a nerf, but maybe. But yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. That's fine. I just rather have them nerf Vortex and Gut It than the other damage moves, but sure. Cerulege, Bitter Blade getting a deserved nerf. Healing decrease, cooldown increase, damage decreased. Bitter Blade also plus getting a healing decrease. Psycho Cut getting a also a nerf. Even though I feel like Psycho Cut was not great on this patch. I just rather, okay, here's Phantom Force. I just want them to nerf Phantom Force. Higher cooldown and also damage decrease. That's what I was hoping for. Because Phantom Force is something you just can't interact with, right? It's just so annoying. So yeah, Cerulege might be actually quite gutted though. So I'm gonna try out Bitter Blade Phantom Force. But honestly, not looking out too great. That is definitely some decent nerfs. And then we have Armor Rouge, which also was very broken this patch. We have Fire Spin. I assume this is Fire Spin as well. Damage 20% decreased, sheet amount decreased. I mean, it was just so broken. It took no skill to play. You ran into enemies, you pressed Fire Spin, you pressed Psyshock, and you won games. 1% deserved nerfs. We also have Psyshock getting a defense piercing effect nerf, and then Armor Cannon getting another damage decrease and higher cooldown. Okay, now Armor Cannon might honestly be almost gone, though. They nerfed Armor Cannon twice in a row. I can't say it's not deserved, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, despite adjustments in the previous Freezing Rush update, Armor Rouge win rate did not decrease as expected. That's the funny part. They nerfed Armor Rouge last patch, and actually, I mean, again, Fire Spin was like a rework, right? We didn't know if it's going to be better or worse, but Armor Rouge ended up with a higher win rate. And for the final buff, we have Mega Mewtwo X getting a damage reduction. Wait, what? It's a nerf. Side Strike damage reduction effect was overly strong, so this move has been nerfed. I don't even like, do you guys remember the last time you played against a Mewtwo X in ranked? Of course I don't. But you know what? Nerf it. I don't care. Just nerf. Yeah, sure. Nerf it. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna try out this patch. Make sure you turn into my stream, watch my videos. Of course, I'm gonna be covering all these buff Pokemon first. Covering Mewtwo, covering Gardevoir. We have 3 Espeon builds to try. We have like 2 or 3 Gardevoir builds to try. We have 1 or 2 Mewtwo Y builds to try. Glaceon 2 builds. We have Azumarill with Whirlpool that has to be tried. We have 2 green builds with Bullet Seed and Belch to try. And then also Lapras with a few builds. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed me going over this patch. Let me know in the comments what you would rate it. I think I would give it a between 5 and 6 out of 10. But I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 just because they did 2 balance patches in one single month, which is a big improvement. Still questionable things. I feel like patches of Timmy are always the best and the worst thing at the same time. But the fact that they did a second patch in 1 month, you know, gets already some bonus points. See you guys in the next video. Bye!